Imagine you are standing on the most isolated piece of land on Earth. You are thousands of miles from the nearest continent. All around you, the landscape is barren. There are no trees, just rolling hills of dry grass and volcanic rock. The wind howls constantly because there is nothing to block it. But you are not alone. Staring at you from the coastline are giant stone faces, hundreds of them. Some are taller than a 4-story building. Some weigh over 80 tons. They have their backs to the ocean, watching the land with empty, hollow eyes. This is Easter Island, or as the natives called it, Rapa Nui. For centuries, explorers asked the same impossible question. How did a small group of people with no wheels, no metal tools, and most importantly, no trees for ropes or rollers, move these massive stones? It looked like magic or aliens. But the answer isn't magic. It is something much darker. It is a story about a civilization that got trapped in an obsession, a civilization that systematically destroyed its own world, one tree at a time, until there was nothing left but rock and silence. Welcome to Era by Era. Today, we are looking at the apocalypse of Easter Island. Let's go back to Easter Sunday, 1722. A Dutch explorer named Jacob Roggeveen spots a blip on the horizon. He steers his ship toward it. When he lands, he's confused. He sees these colossal statues, the Moai. But the people he meets are living in poverty. They're living in fragile huts made of reeds. They have no seaworthy canoes, only leaky rafts. They were trapped on their island. Roggeveen writes in his log that the island looked scorched and desolate. He couldn't understand how these people, with such limited resources, carved the giants. He didn't know that he was walking through a graveyard. You see, Rapa Nui wasn't always a wasteland. When the first Polynesians arrived around 1200 AD, they found a paradise. Pollen analysis from the crater lakes proved that the island was once covered in a thick, lush, calm forest. These weren't just any trees. These were the Rapa Nui palms, giants that grew up to 60 feet tall. The forest was alive. It was home to land birds, owls, and herons. The beaches were full of seals, and because the trees were so large, the islanders could build massive canoes. Archaeologists have found dolphin bones in the oldest garbage pits on the island. Dolphins live in the deep ocean. This proves the islanders were master navigators who could leave the island to hunt whenever they wanted. Life was good. The population exploded to perhaps 15,000 people. But then the obsession began. The island was divided into different clans, and the way a clan showed its power was by honoring its ancestors. They started carving the Moai. At first, the statues were human-sized, but then the competition started. Clan A builds a 10-foot statue, while Clan B is going to build a 20-foot statue. To move an 80-ton statue from the quarry to the coast, you need a sled, you need rollers, you need massive amounts of rope made from tree bark. So they cut down a palm tree, then another, and another. It was a slow-motion disaster. As the statues got bigger, the forest got smaller. You might ask, why didn't they stop? Didn't they see the forest disappearing? Jared Diamond famously asked, what did the islander say as he cut down the very last palm tree? Maybe he said, we need this for the gods. Maybe he said, it's just one tree, it'll grow back. But they didn't grow back. By the time the Europeans arrived, the forest was gone. And when the forest died, the trap snapped shut. Without palm trees, they couldn't build canoes. They could no longer hunt dolphins or deep-sea fish. They were stuck on the land. Without trees to hold the soil, the rain washed away the nutrients. The crops failed. The streams dried up. The birds went extinct because their habitat was gone. The civilization began to starve. The golden age of statue building ended, and the age of horror began.
archaeologists found that in the later years, the garbage pits changed. No more dolphin bones. Instead, they found broken obsidian spear points called mata, and they found human bones. Oral traditions on the island speak of a terrifying time, a time of civil war, a time when the warriors toppled the great statues of their rivals, smashing their eyes so they could no longer watch the land. There is even a chilling phrase from that era that warriors would shout at their enemies, "The flesh of your mother sticks between my teeth." The society that could build giants had collapsed into cannibalism and war. But history is rarely that simple. For years, this was the accepted story, the story of ecocide. Humans were stupid, greedy, and destroyed their environment. But recently, scientists have found a new villain, one that arrived on the very first canoes: the Polynesian rat. Recent studies suggest that while humans did cut down trees, the rats prevented the forest from growing back. These rats had no predators. Their population exploded into the millions. They ate the palm nuts. Every single seed that fell to the ground was eaten before it could sprout. So maybe the humans didn't cut down the last tree. Maybe the forest simply grew old, died, and couldn't replace itself because of a plague of rats. But the result was the same. The ecosystem collapsed. The civilization fell. Whether it was the axe or the rat, the lesson of Rapa Nui remains the same. They were isolated. When things went wrong, they couldn't leave. There was no other island to escape to. Today, when we look at photos of Earth from space, we look a lot like Rapa Nui. We are a small, isolated island in a vast, dark ocean of space. If we use up our resources, if we cut down our last tree, there is nowhere else to go. What do you think really happened? Was it human greed or was it an invasive species? Let me know in the comments below. If you want to see more stories about lost civilizations and ancient mysteries, make sure to hit that subscribe button. This is Era by Era, history